I have two stories from my college baseball career that taught me what scouts actually care about. So I'm in a fall inter-squad, my first year in D1 college baseball, and I hit a soft line drive right at the left fielder. I watched it for a second, jogged to first, didn't think anything of it. My team ends up winning the inter-squad. We have our usual meeting covering what we can improve on. In these games, the losing team usually has to run, but right before that happens, our first base coach calls my name out, and there's this awful moment of silence. He says I took 5 seconds to get to first on that line out. He timed it with a stopwatch. Even though I was on the winning team, I had to run anyway. Honestly, one of the most embarrassing moments in my life. I went back to my dorm room after and sat there all night thinking about it. I think the reason it hurt so bad though is because I'm from Wisconsin, so at this point in my life, I'm really far away from home, like 15, 16 hours away. I don't really know anybody on this team yet, and I'm trying to prove that I can hang with these guys and I belong at this level. I think to be called out in that moment, it did sort of hit on a little soft spot for me where I wasn't totally sure if I belonged there or not. But more importantly, it helped me realize what coaches really value at that level. I didn't even realize I had dogged it to first, but to coach, that moment was more important than anything. But that wasn't the biggest lesson I learned. Flashback to JUCO. I'm at a sophomore showcase. It's a crisp fall evening. There are college and pro scouts littered behind home plate. Before BP, I look back for a second. They're not even watching. They're talking, laughing, eating sandwiches. Most of them had their backs turned to the field. It felt like they had already decided that none of the players there were good enough. It felt like a waste of time. A lot of players checked out. They got frustrated. Felt like it was pointless. Energy dropped, effort dropped. Most of the guys just wanted to leave. I tried my best to get a good workout in. Fast forward to the end of the showcase. I'm the last one in the dugout, because if you know ball, you know catchers are always the last out. All the other dudes had rushed out and there was trash everywhere. Nobody picked it up. So I'm like, well, someone's got to do it. The cool thing is, someone else walked in and started helping. I just assumed he was the janitor. He was dressed like one. We got everything picked up. I'm about to leave and the guy asked me for my name. Crazy part is, he wasn't a janitor. He was a D1 head coach. We exchanged info and a couple weeks later, I had my first D1 scholarship. Now obviously this wasn't like a Power 4 scholarship, but to me, that was a huge deal. I realized that everything you do matters. How you run out to your position, how you act when no one's watching, how you handle frustration, and how you treat people. What you gotta realize is D1 and pro scouts already know you're good. If they're there to watch you or your team play, they've seen you, they've heard about you guys, and they know you can play. I've seen high school players go 0 for 4 with 3 Ks and get offered right after the game. Because scouts are not there to evaluate your skills. They're asking themselves, can I trust this player? Can I put them in pressure situations? Will they handle their business? Will they represent my program the right way? Are they fun to be around? Here's how scouts think. Hustling out a fly ball matters, even if it doesn't end up mattering in the course of the game. Because what if the ball gets dropped? What if that run matters later? High-level coaches think like that because every game affects their livelihood. Their job, their reputation, and their ability to provide for their family all depends on whether a bunch of young players can figure out how to win a ball game. I've played coast to coast in the US and I've played a season internationally. I've seen tons of players with D1 tools, tons of players with pro level tools, 100-mile-per-hour exit velos, 90-mile-per-hour arms, and elite speed. You gotta realize that stuff is not rare at all. What separates players who actually make it to the highest levels is trust. Can the coach, manager, and organization trust you to carry yourself well, show up on time, handle details, and most importantly, be a dog when it matters most? You can have all the numbers, metrics, and tools you want, but if you're late all the time, skip out on nutrition, you're the first one out of the dugout, and can only seem to hit bombs when your team's down or up by 10, then no scout in the world cares. The best programs I've seen all do the same things. They clean the dugouts, give high fives all the time, say please and thank you, show up on time, have full attendance at every lift and practice, and they always seem to have organized equipment and schedules. Greatness is everywhere in these kinds of programs, from the head coach to the bat boy to the trainer, from the star player to the bench player. They all ruthlessly execute mundane and simple tasks to perfection. Because how you do the simplest, dumbest little thing is the way you'll handle the bottom of the ninth, tie game, championship on the line. You don't turn it on in the big moments. There's no switch. We always fall back to our habits. The way you do one little thing is how you do everything. And your talent means nothing if you can't be trusted. If you want to make it as far as your talent will allow, I'd start with hustling out every ball, being nice to the janitor, and cleaning your frickin' dugout.